Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
All right, and welcome back to our JK Deal Reveal every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, where you send us a property, a deal that you'd like me to do a lightning pre-analysis to see if this is a deal or no deal, and we try to make this as interactive as possible. So at any point in this short analysis, you can say this is good, this is no good for you, and we can have a brief conversation about that. So nice to see you here. We've got some of our loyalists here. AZ, nice to see you here. Brian, Jarrett's with us, and I will say that Jarrett I didn't actually confirm or get his approval yet, but Jarrett may be featuring a deal for us next week, and it will be a larger deal if he accepts than what we usually see on these deal reveals. So stick around for that. Jenlyn, Mahela, nice to see you here. Raj, all right, who else? Savi, Sterling, and Mr. or Mrs. Smith, maybe both, we don't know. Nice to have you all here. All right, so let's jump in. We have a deal reveal, and there's so much going on in the JK community right now. We are finishing up our Key to Castle program and our mid-year revelation. So right now we have two programs from the vault that are being finished this week, that are being finalized this week. So if you want any information about that, you can reach out and we can tell you all about that. But today it is a deal reveal. So we learn how to look at deals lightning fast to not get stuck in that analysis paralysis. And so thank you to Garrett, who submitted this deal to us. We are going back to Cleveland, back to basics, and let's see if we can get some numbers that are for or maybe higher return than what we can see in Canada or in your local market. So start your timers. Here we go. I got the address on the bottom here. This is a property being sold for $75,000. So let's go. Very first step, I like to go into Zillow or Trulia just to get a sense of what is this property about. Is this a residential property or a 5+ commercial lending property? So we have here a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. So for sure this is residential. Is it a duplex, a single family, or a triplex? It's unclear at this point in time, but it could be up to a triplex. We have a nose estimate, so it might be a little bit hard to gather how much this property is worth right off the cusp, but we do see here that there are some sold properties, other 5.3s that sold recently, under a year ago. This one sold, and it's on the same street, right? Very, very close, only about 100 digits off for $92,000. Here's another one, a couple streets off for $55,000. And then we have a 4.2 for $34,000, and there's some lower comps. There's a few higher ones as well. Here's a 4.2, most likely a duplex happening here. So from this, it's looking like once fixed up, because we can see that this property, if these are actual pictures, which they're not, this is a 2015 photograph. This needed some work at that point in time. And we can take a quick look at the pictures to see what the status is. So those floors need to be redone. The counters are a little bit crooked and so forth. Like you can see, this needs a little bit of love, right? This is not, doesn't appear to be a full gut, but it's not just lipstick either on this particular project based on these pictures here. So based on these pictures, based on the fact that it's probably a duplex or a triplex, you know, we're probably in the $40,000, $50,000 renovation range, just ballparking it here to really sprucing it up. That's basically changing, you know, and doing a makeover a nice makeover on this property. It's probably worth around 90 to 100 once it's fixed up because there are some solid comps in there. And so if you remember, this is a property asking 75 right now. And if we do need to put 40,000 into it, we're in for over 100. It's probably worth right around 100. So at first glance, rule number one of real estate, buy at a discount, not looking so much like it is, but who knows if these are actual pictures. So maybe reaching out and just confirming and getting some updated pictures could help seeing if we're respecting the first rule of real estate, which is buy at a discount. Second rule is, are we buying cash flow? So this is a rental property and we need to know, is this a single family? Is it a duplex or is it a triplex? Because that'll determine how much rents you can get. And we can use some tools to estimate the rental income. So first of all, since it's unclear if this is a duplex, I don't have, oh, large colonial. Each unit features spacious living room. It's definitely looking like a duplex from this description. And there is a third floor with finished full bath. So it is live in one unit, rent the other. So this is now confirmed a duplex. If there wasn't a description here, I want to give you a little trick. You can go to the county website, right? And if you don't yet have the Cuyahoga County One Cuyahoga My Place website favorited, I highly recommend you do. It's something that's going to come in handy. In the search engine, we're going to go find our property. Here it is. It's owned by a Merle Thomas Jr. And we can go into the general descriptions right into county records, and we can see that this is a two-family platted lot as well for the land use. So another strong indication that this is a two-family or a duplex property. While I'm in here, I always like to take a quick look at the tax summaries just to see if there are any back taxes. And here there actually are. There's over $2,000 of back taxes, and the half-year taxes on this property are under $500, which means in 1 year it's under $1,000 of taxes, and they owe two, which means they're about 2 years behind on their taxes. This could be important to just know in the back of your mind as you're entering into a potential deal. So because I came to county records, I looked at it. I wouldn't do the detour otherwise, but I had a doubt at first, is this really a duplex? Because that's going to change how much rental income I can get out of this property. So I'm going to go to rental meter and I'm going to see what I can get out of rents out of a duplex. That's a 5-3. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And so I'm going to turn on my VPN to get unlimited usage out of rental meter. So I just did it on the background right now. And I'm going to slap in the address. I'm going to put a 3-bed, 2-bath. So I'm not putting 5 beds, 3 baths here. I'm really breaking it up because the rents are going to be different. So here actually seems to be some pretty strong rents for 3 2s here. Little word of warning, in rental meter, you're pulling 3 2s from apartments and houses. There's a lot of houses that are 3 1s and 3 2s. And so this is probably a single family home, which isn't exactly comparable to what we're looking at here. So when you're looking at 3 bedrooms in the apartment space, go for the lower side of everything. I would definitely be closer to the $1,000 range when running my numbers here. Okay, so about 1,000 for the 3-bedroom, and on the 2-bedroom, let's go see what the 2-bedroom is likely to generate for us. All right, we have a drop here, probably about the lower of the average and the median, so about 700. So 1,000 on one side, 700 on the other after we've done a good renovation and it's, you know, back up to par. And so from here, we want to see what is our cash flow. That's the name of the game, right? So let me pull out my calculator. So we have 1,000 on one side, we got 700 on the other. So we have 17 a month coming in. Most years have 12 months. And then we use our 50% multiplier. And since this is Cleveland, and as you saw, the taxes are ridiculously low on these lower valued Cleveland properties, lots of P's in there. we can use a 55% rule because expenses are a little bit lower. The expense ratio is a little bit lower because we're not in the suburb with high values and higher taxes. So we can expect, if we have 20,000 gross, to have about 11,000 net coming off this particular property here. And so we have 11,000 NOI. How much did we pay for this property? Well, we might buy it for 75. That's the asking price, but there's also probably a renovation based on those pictures in there. So let's say it is 40,000. So the whole project isn't 75, but 115. Okay. So NOI divided by your first year costs, basically, which is purchase plus that renovation. And we basically have a 10 cap, a 9.8% return, or 9.8 cap, about a 10 cap, at offering full asking price here. Okay, 11,000 of cash flow if you bought it cash, or if you do the run the numbers, about a 10 cap. So is this a deal or no deal? We looked at the first golden rule of real estate. We looked at the second golden rule of real estate. Is this a deal for you? Let's hear what you have. Jared says, okay, Jared says he will be on next week. Fantastic. And everybody else, is this a deal or no deal for you? Is this something you would advance on? What is your interest? Jared likes it. It's a deal. Puria says it's a deal. Fantastic. So we got a couple of deals in the room. So this is a real property, ladies and gentlemen. You go in there, you track it down, and you go put an offer if you think it's a deal. As simple as that. This is a learning opportunity for everyone. One last little thing that could be good is the crime. Okay, this could be very interesting to look at. Keep in mind that everything you take with a grain of salt, all things considered. You can put in here the property's address and click enter, and it's going to do its thing, probably. There we go. What's fun with the ADT crime maps is it gives you a color code of the crime. The redder it is, the worse it is, and it's comparing it to the to basically the national average here. Okay, so in this particular zip code, there is about 4 times more crime than the national average in the US. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it's hard to say exactly what that means because Cleveland is one of those areas that's very spotty. So there are areas in the zip code, there are streets that are very, very nice, and there's others that are not nice. And this basically holds for everything in the red here. So unless you go to like South Euclid, where no, this is right on average for the US, or you go to Cleveland Heights and you say this is basically right on average, you can it can mean more if you go in the safer areas than what would look like a non-safe area here. And let me give you an example. Bracknell, okay, which is right by the lake here, is an A area, okay? Very little crime here, right? Beautiful properties, $1 million properties right along here. But whoa, look at this. It's in a red area with 6 times more crime than the national average. Why? How is that possible? Because it shares the zip code with Glenville, south of the 90, and this is an area that is definitely needing some love and is getting government support and grants and funding to sprucing this whole area up. But this is inner city. This is rough, right? The whole St. Clair. So it's hard to just look at the map and cross something out with this, but it does give you some indication at a very, very high level. If you're still considering where you might want to invest in the US, well, maybe this is just Cleveland has too high of a crime. Maybe that's a factor for you. Yes, Cleveland has higher crime than a lot of US cities, but it is also a top rental real estate and cash flow market for real estate investors. So, we make a choice. If it's a deal breaker for you, well, the ADT Interactive website can help you make that decision. Otherwise, well, take it with a grain of salt, all things considered. So going back to our property here that we had, it was in this area. Okay. We also have a larger breakdown of the type of crimes that are committed and how is that type of crime comparing to the national average. So on assault and larceny, it's a little bit higher, or 40% higher, whereas burglary is 500% higher and robbery is 700% higher. So it's interesting data, but it's not to scare, it's just to inform, and hopefully this was of value to you. So let's see some of the comments that we have here. Puria, do we have a similar website for crime in Canada? We used to have Trulia, but that's no longer available, and I don't know the answer to that. I haven't looked into that. Share with us next time you join, and tell us if that works. But in the US, you have the ADT, which, heck, let's do something here. It looks like, well, it's not clicking for us. It's finding it on the map, but because ADT is also in Canada, so I would have thought that maybe it had some data for us here, but maybe not. So I don't know. Let us know and share with us that resource. It'd be helpful. Thank you, Puria. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our deal reveal for today. Another one from Cleveland, a duplex with a nice 3-bedroom, another 2-bedroom for $75,000 asking. And yeah, who knows? Put in an offer and see where it lands. So thank you for your time. Thank you for submitting another deal to us. And if anything of this is of interest to you, our JK family is growing. We have more and more people there to support you in your journey to financial freedom. And we're excited for you to get your first or your next US property, whether it be a castle or a beautiful duplex in Cleveland. So have yourself a wonderful evening. For those of you joining for the final volume of the Mid-Year Revelation, I'll see you in about 40 minutes. Until then, do now for tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Don't wait for tomorrow.